everyone, I am your host, Silver. It is Monday, March 4th. I just want to say a quick hello to any new viewers and an awesome welcome back. Must go to all of my returning viewers. So if you tuned in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. Welcome one and all to my little corner of the internet I call my Dreamland. On Ravelry, I am Silverluna2112. On Instagram, I am at Silverstreets, and on Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. On Goodreads, I am actually Silverluna, straight up. And on Twitch.tv as Silverluna2112. That's a new development, don't worry about that. And we also do have a Facebook group called Silver's Dreamland, as well as a group on Ravelry called Silver's Dreamland Podcast. So if you want to follow me there, please feel free. Anyway, how have you all been since the last time we got together? I've been pretty good. I do have a lot to talk to you about, so I should probably get started, right? So, grab your drink of choice, your crafting, and away we go. As a note, today I'm actually just drinking a large drink of water as I record. If you have never listened before, I have recently lost a couple teeth in the front of my mouth, so I have a bridge there now, which requires me not to stain it with like coffee and the like, so I do have to always record with either water or like seltzer water, just in case you're wondering. Let me take a quick drink and we will get started. Moving on to my favorite things. I did get a couple things in the mail since the last time we talked. The first, I got this wonderful bag by Joanna of Stitching High Notes. This is her musical note Christmas bag. I absolutely love this bag, you guys. The next thing that came in the mail, I'm going to go ahead and put up a spoiler alert now. If you participated in the 2018 Sock Yarn Club through this Desert Vista Dye Works, please either look away or skip ahead. I will put a timestamp so that way you know when to come back. Alright, you gone? Okay. What came in this package for completing all 12 months was this wonderful Sock Club prize colorway. It's called Pink Champagne, you guys. I absolutely love it. It's got gold Selena in it, and it also has I love it. It actually has 75% merino wool, 20% nylon, and it's got 10% gold Selena in it, you guys. Sorry about all the crinkling. I actually picked it up because it came in the mail yesterday, so I kind of still look at it like longingly. I really want to cast it on really quickly. But I digress. What also came in the package with it was these wonderful minis. They didn't come with the color names attached, but I will do my best to write them below if I remember. And also, there were a bunch of little extras that came in the package as well. Oh, I cannot get over how thoughtful Susan was with this package, you guys. So worth the wait, let me tell you. And worth the participation too. So if you would like to, you can definitely still get started in the 2019 Cal. All you have to do is have a skein of Desert Vista Dye Works yarn and go ahead and be willing to do a pair of socks in a month. And you're not too late. Yeah, they do every 3 months do have prizes and things as well too. So anyway, let's move on to FOs. This month I have managed to finish quite a few things, so let's get started. The first thing that I did finish was last month's Desert Vista Dye Works socks. Speaking of that, I called this project I called this project Piglet and Honey. What more could a Pooh Bear ask for? The pattern I used was by Irish Girly Knits, and the name was Honey Badger. Absolutely loved this. Can you tell I used this for Harry Potter stuff, huh? Anyway, I used the Desert Vista Dye Works Viso base in the Zom Piglets colorway for this one. And as per my usual with my socks nowadays, I did use a size US 1, which is 2.25, I believe, on a 9-inch circulars for most of the sock itself. The next thing that I did finish was what I called I'm Loving It. This one's been on the needles for a while, and it's actually part of my owl for the Harry Potter House Cup. More on that later, trust me. It's a running theme throughout everything I finish over the next couple months. Let's see, I did use the pattern All the Love by Joji Locatelli, and I used almost 6 skeins of Dreamland Color BFL Silk DK in the pinky colorway. And for this, I did use a size US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter, and I also used US 4, I believe. Oh, goodness, I'm blanking on the millimeter. I'll put it down below if you didn't already know what that was. Bad podcaster, I know. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's a 3.5 millimeter. Whoops. The next couple of things that I finished are basically the same item, just one is bigger than the other. I called these projects Vertebrae number 1 and Vertebrae number 2. I used the Baby Vertebrae pattern by Kelly Van Nykirk. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I am so sorry if I've got that wrong. I did use a size US 4, which is the 3.5, and a US 6, which is the 4.0 millimeter on both of these. And I did use colorways of Bernat Baby Sport in the Baby Ombre and Mint colorways. I did reverse the colors on the second one, and I made the second one a little bit bigger. That way the recipients will have enough, so that the recipients' newborns will have a little bit of room to grow, because, they do that, apparently. The fifth thing that I finished this month was what I called We've Got Mars on the Horizon. The pattern I used on this one was the Worsted Boxy by Hoki Locatelli. And I did use Miss Babs Yowza in the Seductress colorway. This one was for me. I did use size US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter, and a US size 6, which is a 4.0. I absolutely love the way that this sweater came out. I cannot believe I managed to finish it by the end of February, though, you guys. It was definitely a struggle. As you all know, I am not really a fan of sleeves or being on Sleeve Island, so I put this sweater and the I'm Loving It sweater off for as long as I possibly can, because I just needed to put sleeves on. I know, I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, the last thing that I did finish was what I called Boz Shawl number 1. I used the Yowza Weight Shawl number 2 pattern by Susan B. Anderson. It's actually a favorite pattern of mine. You'll see why later. I did use 2 skeins of Miss Babs Yowza, one in the Spiked Punch colorway and one in the Morticia colorway. I wanted to do kind of a fade between the two colors, and those were the colors that my intended recipient wanted. I did use a size US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter Chai-Gu. It's 60-inch circulars, but before that, I did use 24-inch marbles as well until I ran out of room, which was pretty earlier on in the shawl, I might admit. But anyway, I mention it because I love those marbles needles, you guys. If you haven't picked up a pair, now would be the time. I'm gonna take a quick drink before I go ahead and move on to what's on the needles, because there's quite a bit. All right, so what has jumped on my needles since the last time we talked? Got a few. Not gonna lie. The first one is actually what I'm currently working on as I record. So if you hear the clicking, the needles are kind of loud. I'm sorry, but I am working on it as we talk. But anyway, I'm calling this project Boz Shawl number 2. This again was the Yowza Weight Shawl number 2 by Susan B. Anderson. The recipient wanted 2 different shawls for 2 different people, and she is going to be paying me eventually for them, so that's okay. Kind of well needed, but I'll explain more later. Anyway, I did use Miss Babs Yowza on 2 skeins. One is Echo, and the second one is Across the Universe, also doing a kind of fade on this one as well. I'm currently working on the stripy section, the second of 3 pattern repetitions before I go back to the first color. Okay, I am, like I mentioned before, I am using a size US 9, which is the 5.5 Chai-Gu 60-inch circulars. I just moved the work onto that this morning, actually. This project is actually being housed in my Harry Potter bag by Bagged by Awesome Granny. I absolutely love the bag, and it's perfect for having the 2 skeins plus the shawl, even when I get down to the end of the shawl itself. Ask me how, I know. Anyway, the second thing that jumped on the needle since the last time we talked is what I am calling simply March 2019 DVD socks. For this pair, I am using the Socks for the Deputy Headmistress pattern by Erica Luder. And this month is for, it's actually, since it is for Desert Vista Dye Works, I am using her Visa base in the Zombody Tigger colorway. Or Zom Tigger, I think is what you call it anyway. Either way, it's very Tiggerific. I am using a size US 1 on 9-inch circulars as well, like I mentioned before. This project is actually being housed in my Beauty and the Beast stained glass bag by Molly Klein Designs. I absolutely love this bag, and I think I want to use it all year long for my Desert Vista Dye Works socks, just so I know where they are, because your girl still has lots of works in progress. And speaking of a lot of whips, your girl did start a new project since we last talked. I'm calling this simply ITA blanket. I won't explain why. I don't think that the recipient will ever listen to this, but just in case. The pattern I'm using on this blanket is the Grandma's Dishcloth, which is the grandmother's second favorite by PJ Allen. It's the one kind of like the grandma's favorite dishcloth, but without the holes. Mostly because I feel like the recipient would like this better. Either way, I am planning on using lots of different skeins and colorways of yarn of the Burnout Baby Sport. I am so far using pale blue, and I've gotten to about 44 stitches across. I am using a size US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter Susan Bates. I think they are 40-inch cable. Sorry, I had to remember that. And this is actually being housed in my pumpkin spice latte bag by the Knitted Broomstick. I love this bag, you guys. Like I said, doesn't even have to be pumpkin spice season, and I'm putting that in quotes. I'll use it all year long. So besides the things that jumped on my needles this month, I did do a fair amount of work on other projects as well. The first one I'm going to mention is Everything's Just Peachy with the winky face at the end. This is the Anemone by Vera Valimaki. I literally have one little cap sleeve left to finish, you guys. I'm super close. This is for the last sweater of the owl that I have, the Harry Potter house cup on Ravelry, and I cannot wait to finish it. I do have what's going to amount to about 2 full skeins left, and I think I might have an idea what I'm going to use it for. More on that later. I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, on this sweater, on this top, I'm actually using size US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter, and the US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter needles as well. Oh, absolutely love the way that this is coming up, and I cannot wait to wear it at all. It's nice and loose, and it's meant to be a spring top. And with the how many inches of snow we got on the overnight, I'm looking forward to spring, you guys. All right, so the second thing that did get a little bit of love this past month was what I called Forever Minty. This is It Has Always Been Forever for Me Sachana shawl by CC Almond. I've been working on this one for a little while, mostly while I've been watching TV this week, just to keep my hands occupied with a pattern and not just sit there and knit for days like I do on other shawls. But either way, I am using 2 different colorways of Lolo Did It plush sock. The first one is Barely There Mint, and Sachana is the secondary colorway. I absolutely love the way these two are playing together, and I cannot wait. I think I have about 2 or 3 more sections, no, 2.5 more sections, and I'm going to be done with it. I'm kind of sad, but kind of excited to have the FO. I am using a size US 4, which is a 3.5 Chaigu needles. Like I said, I love this. And I'll make sure I put a photo into the close-up of those 2 sections that I worked on since the last time we talked. The next thing that did get a little bit more love was what I called Northern Skies. It is the Northeasterly by Melissa Alexander Loomis. I'm going to be using a lot of miscellaneous scraps of fingering weight yarn. I have determined that I want to use as much of my speckly and variegated yarns over anything else. I'm hoping that hoping this will be a while. I mean, I know that this is going to be a long-term project, but yeah, I'll just mention colorways that I have been using when I show progress. I've finished up the starting point colorway, and I started the secondary colorway, which was Only Have Eyes for You by Leading Men Fiber Arts. I love this, you guys. And now for this project, I am going to be using a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter carbons DPNs for the whole time. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to start off with 3 different columns of all the Leading Men Fiber Arts 2018 colorways, put that all in one bulk, and hopefully I think those will be long enough to make the lap blanket that I need, and I'll go from there. But those are my plans for now. Those are subject to change. Y'all know how I am. Anyway, the next thing that did get a little bit of love was what I called Whispering Amira. This was the Amira pattern by Renee Mueller. If y'all remember, I had ripped back completely, ripped out everything, and decided to cast on in the rounds. I am now up to the regular section of it, right where the boob line is, and up. So that'll be amazing. I made a lot of progress on this one, you guys, considering I should be working on other things. Either way, I'm actually using Knit Picks Cotton in the Whisper colorway. Love this color, you guys, and it's perfect. I am using a size US 3, which is the 3.25 millimeter. That was for the bottom ribbing, and I will use it for the top ribbing and possibly I haven't read the pattern all the way through, can you tell? I think possibly for the shoulders as well. I also am using a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. I am using the Knitter's Pride Dreams, I believe, the metal equivalent. I think they're called Dreams. I'll write it down below if they're not. Okay, and the last thing that did get a little bit of love this time was what I called Roy G. Biv Forever. This was the Vanilla is the New Black Socks by Vanessa Fletcher. I am using Rock and String Creations Super Sock in the Roy G. Biv colorway because, you guys, it is a rainbow, and sometimes you just need a rainbow in the middle of all of this snow. Yeah. Anyway, I am using the size US 1, 2.25, 9-inch circulars. I am using, I have so many of those now, you guys, and I love them. X's and O's. Okay, you guys, I have been doing a fair amount of writing, especially for my neck of the woods, on my personal blog, which is dreamysilver2112.com. If you'd like to follow along, I mostly have put up a bunch of FO posts of things that I finished up until February 14th for the year, and I did include a page that will link to each post, so that way you can follow those if you would like to. Let's see. Oh, and I also finished updating my 2019 book post. That was updated as of February 15th. I think I have read a bunch since then, but you'll be able to see that for yourself in just a moment. Let me just take a quick drink and we will move on from there. Radio Gaga. Okay, so this past month I have been listening to a lot of my 2019 Ski Weekend playlist as well. I've added more to it. And I've also been listening to Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album, just because I really like that album. Let's see. In terms of podcasts, I did find 4 new podcasts. The first one is Associates Anonymous, which is basically a lot of customer service stories, and I love it because I can totally relate. The next podcast I did found this past month, actually, I would say about 3 weeks ago, is called Voyage to the Stars. It's totally awesome. It is like Felicia Day and a bunch of other comedians getting together and kind of improvising a scene, which is amazing. I cannot wait for the next episode, you guys. Let's see. Based on our conversation from the last episode, I did find a new podcast that is called TARBIS, which is Time and Relative Blackness in Space. They basically talk about every single episode of like Tales from the TARDIS and all that good stuff from Doctor Who. I love these ladies. They do such a wonderful job. I will link to all of their information in the show notes if you would like to go ahead and follow them and give them a listen there on iTunes. The last podcast that I found this month was called Girl in Space. It's this weird tale, but I just can't stop listening to it. They haven't updated since the end of last year, so I'm hoping she'll come back soon. But it's a pretty good story. I do recommend it. Like I said, she is on iTunes as well. So I've also been catching up with a bunch of other podcasts as well. I've been spending a lot of my time, especially since Outlander ended, listening to Outlander Cast. They have gone through every single episode, got their feedback for it. They've gotten a lot of different interviews with people with of Ronald D. Moore, the showrunner, as well as Terry Dresbach. That's actually the one I'm going to be listening to as soon as I am done here, because I cannot wait. And other actors and things like that. So it's amazing, and I cannot wait to dive back into their podcast. And I've kind of fangirled on both Mary and Blake, actually, over the past week. Whoops. Let's see. I've also been catching up with David Tennant, does a podcast with ... I listened to the one with Whoopi Goldberg, Jodie Whittaker, and Ian McKellen, which amazing show, you guys. He did put out a new episode earlier in the week, but I will catch up with that later. Let's see. I did also catch up with Is This Adulting, the Knitmore Girls, Wine and Crime, the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast, and That's Why We Drink, and My Favorite Murder podcast club, because those are pretty much my jam. Alright, Silver's book pile. So yeah, you guys, I've been reading a lot of Ravelry threads, especially on the Harry Potter and Knit Crochet House Cup forums, mostly because it is the beginning of the month. I haven't quite figured out what my class for the month will be yet, but basically until I decide, I have all of those forums up there, and I kind of just follow along until I figure out what I'm going to enter. And basically, once I enter, I wait for those threads to be accepted for points for the month, and then I just unfollow the threads because it's just easier to keep the number of threads that I watch down below two pages on Ravelry. If you are on Ravelry, you know exactly what I mean. But yeah, what I have finished in terms of books, a few of them. I did finish reading Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty, finally. Much to my relief, let me tell you. I loved the book, don't get me wrong. I just took too long to read it. That was my own fault, and not the author's. Let's see. I did read a lot of the Anita Blake series by Laura K. Hamilton this month. I read Blue Moon, Obsidian Butterfly, Narcissus in Chains, Cerulean Sins, Incubus Dreams, and Micah. And so when I was reading Incubus Dreams, I realized I had been with this series for exactly 15 years. Whoa. Because I remember picking up Incubus Dreams at my local bookstore and liking the series from there, and decided to binge read the rest of them. It's like, whoa, guys. Anyway, let's see. I am currently still reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast. We're up to chapter 23, so I might be with the book for a while, so you know. Basically what we do is we read a chapter, and we will try to treat that text as a sacred text, which is amazing, and it's an awesome thing that I love doing with that podcast. Let's see. Oh, and I'm also reading now finally, I'm getting back into Breath of Snow and Ashes by Diana Gabaldon, because I really wanted to read that book for a while. And I'm also reading another book by Laura K. Hamilton in the Anita Blake series called Dance Macabre. I've been reading this book for a few days. I am about 70% done with the book. It's just I haven't had the brain space to sit down for more than 20 minutes to read. But that's just me. Silver in the case of the screen time. I have been watching a lot. Let's start off with TV. I did watch Stargate SG-1 episodes 1 through 3, mostly because I wanted the pilot episode. And then, once you have a disc, and you might as well watch the two remaining on the disc, right? Let's see. Oh, I watched a little bit of Glee. And I also did realize that I am about a year behind on the Dead Files, so I was binging that for a while. And then I took to binging Outlander along with the Outlander cast as well. So that I did watch up to the end of season 2. And so also, MTI and I actually have been watching The Masked Singer together. It was amazing. Cannot wait. They have announced that there will be a season 2, but we don't know when that'll be yet. Which I think MTI would want to watch with me again. Let's see. I did watch a few movies as well. I watched The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and then Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. I did watch the Stargate movie. I also watched a couple of movies on Hallmark Channel. One was called Cooking with Love, and the second was The Story of Us. I haven't quite watched I haven't watched a Hallmark movie in a couple weeks. Whoops. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and I have been watching a bunch of podcasts as well. I have caught up with the Grocery Girls, Knit and Kitten. I've also caught up with the Geeky Girls Knit podcast, as well as the Knit Girls, the Knitters League, also Dramatic Knits, Around the Twist, Knit Zombies, and Criminally Creative. There are a few that I still want to catch up with, but those are the ones that I did this past couple weeks, I think. Because, yeah, I've been busy. Anyway. Some other things that I have been watching. I have been watching some random videos on YouTube, including a channel called Michelle Plays. She is going through playing the game The Sim. She has been playing the Sims 4 game. There is a challenge called the 100 Baby Challenge. She picks it up every couple of months, which is fine. And so I watch her episode whenever it comes up. Oh yeah, and MTI has been playing Diablo 3 quite a bit, and I've been watching him play that. Actually got really into the storyline at one point. And I begged him to finish the story, so I don't know if I can say any more than that. But it is a pretty awesome game, and all the voice actors are amazing, as you all know. The more you know. Okay, you guys, it is time for a KAL breakdown. More specifically, the Great Podcaster Craft Together 2019. This is a KAL that I'm posting in the year 2019, all year long. The Craft Together did start on January 1st and will end on December 31st. So this year, like I mentioned, if you are a podcaster and would like to host an FO thread on a Ravelry board, that is fine. Chatter threads are even better. So, giving prizes away in there is your own personal preference. If you are officially participating in the along, please PM me directly. I will add you to the list of podcasts participating. This does include your podcast banner being included on there, as well as being added to a list of moderators as well. So if you so choose to add or change things, that kind of thing. Basically, if you are not a podcaster and you do listen to any podcast and just would like to go ahead and join in, please feel free to go ahead and join in and spread the word. If you're playing along on social media and would like to, we have a hashtag, which is hashtag the Great Podcaster K2TOG on Instagram and everywhere. I will go ahead and put it down below so that way you can see it. Sometimes I talk too fast. So the rules for the game are pretty simple. You must simply be a member of the KAL Ravelry group, which is easy to find. It's the Great Podcaster Knit Together, or Craft Together, sorry. Your projects must be at least 10 yards of yarn, so individual socks do count, unless you do finish the pair. One pair will only count once, sorry. You'll just have to update that post if you happen to finish the second one after the first. So any project that you finish in 2019 will count. If it is not a Ravelry craft, such as scrapbooking, latch hooking, quilting, sewing, needlepoint, and holiday baking, these crafts will actually count, but you must post before and after photos. So that way we can definitely see your progress. Let's see. Poly dipping is actually allowed and even encouraged. And in the case of scrappy blankets, so you know, one stripe or 3 squares count as an FO in this context. Because quite frankly, who of us isn't working on some version of a scrappy blanket? Or 2 or 3 in my case, 4. But anyway, so you want to know about the prizes, right? Before I get to those, if you are a crafter or anything like that, and you would like to add something to the prize pool, please just PM me directly on Ravelry. I am Silverluna2112. I will go ahead and make sure we add those to the list. What we have so far, we do have 12 individual patterns of $10 or under on Ravelry of the winner's choice. I will actually be drawing for one a month throughout the whole year. There will also be 4 total copies of my personal pattern called Proud to Be Me. I'll be giving one away per quarter. There will also be a free pattern from Java Pearl Designs that will be given away every month, so 12 total. Colson 111322 has included a set of stitch markers that she'll send you directly. Let's see. Oh yes, and we did have 3 different skeins of yarn by Nice and Knit. Their colorways, you guys, I can't gush enough. The first was their sand dollar on their fingering base, which, if you know, is 490 yards of 100% superwash merino. And also on that same fingering base is the colorway I call Deep Blue Sea. I am not sure of the exact name because there was no name on the label. Sorry, I'll have to reach out to the 2 of those ladies and find that out for sure. Hopefully before the time I record next. Let's see. I also did get a skein of their stock weight yarn base, which was 463 yards of 75% merino and 25% nylon. Also no name on the label, but I believe it is actually Mayflowers. Either way, I love those 2 colors, you guys. Let's see. Oh yeah, and from Mad Fuzzy, we did get a skein of her Pretty Tough sock base in her Season's Greetings colorway. I love it. Let's see. From Spotted Circus, we did get a skein of her worsted weight, which is the Paca CBM. It is 80% alpaca and 20% CBM wool. It's very sheepy, you guys. Ugh, I know. Let's see. Most Crochet is actually donating 4 individual skeins of her hand-spun yarn, so 1 per quarter. So thank you for that, Mose. I appreciate you so much for donating that. I'm not a spinner, but I really do appreciate the work that goes into it. So let's see. From Adore Knits, there is a winter-themed Progress Keeper and Stitch Marker set. And there's also this wonderful Llama Progress Keeper. Let's see. I did get a large package from Knit Picks, so thank you for the donation to the wonderful team over at Knit Picks. There are going to be 4 different in this from them, 4 different prizes. The first is a Stitch Fix and Connecting Thread Scissor combo. The second was the colored stitch markers with a tin, and there's a yellow tape measure to match. There's also a purple Notions clutch. And there's also a gold needle organizer as well. They did send some other things, but I'm going to be including those in the grand prize, which I will announce sometime later on social media. I don't know when exactly. So they say give me at least a week to finalize that. Let's see. Oh, and from Joanna at Stitching High Notes, I did get an enamel pin with her logo, as well as a candy cane Progress Keeper as well. Oh, I love those. Thank you so much for sending those along, Joanna. Let's see. Oh yeah, from Molly Klein Designs, we do have a pink gingerbread town bag. Amazing. And the caramel latte yarn bag. Oh, I keep staring at those, you guys. I love those bags. Let's see. Oh, we did get a package from Wee Ones. We did get a set of cute unicorn stitch markers. Adorbs. And also a set of spring sheep stitch markers as well. Oh, you guys, and we do have some new prizes. Since we did reach over 100 FOs this month, I decided that I'm going to add 2 more prizes to the pool. I have decided to highlight a specific designer every time that I add on prizes like this. To that end, I'm going to be drawing 2 different prizes in a little bit. The first one is going to be a copy of the winner's choice from Waylon Hong's Ravelry shop. I personally love the Hug and Kisses flower blanket. Oh, so adorable. Anyway, the second person will win a copy of the winner's choice from TM Harrison's Ravelry shop. They do have 9 wonderful patterns to choose from, and I love their newest, which is the Prima Donna Psyche Oculos pattern. I love it. That's a someday in the distant future, but I really, 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 really want to do that one. Anyway, I digress. And as I alluded to before, there's actually going to be a grand prize that will be given away at the very end of the year. So if there's anyone that still wants to go ahead and add to this particular prize pool, please PM me within the next couple days or so. And again, on Ravelry is best. That is Silverluna 2112. I will plan on announcing this later in the month. I couldn't tell you when. Just keep on either on Ravelry for the announcement, or I'll even put it on social media. My handle is actually Silver's Knitting and Silver's Treats, respectively. So, all right. So a bunch of people actually entered FOs for the month. Are you ready? Congratulations must go to Knit Central, D-Door4, Jodadiah, I Now Hour, Trilinda, Just a Dose of Love, Knitter Chow, Elle McCall, Nicole S., Craftworker, and Moe's Crochet. Congratulations, you guys. Thank you so much for entering your FOs. They were all amazing. I could not love any of them any less. They were all amazing. Speaking of love, here's a new segment I'm going to discuss in terms of this cowl. I have a new contest that I started at the end of January. If you all hadn't noticed, I've been loving every project on the forums because I cannot get enough of the awesomeness that you've been working hard on finishing and entering in the threads for us. It's just who I am too. I love to share the love and to celebrate everyone's accomplishments. If you guys agree with me and like to start doing this to help support everyone that enters FOs, that would be awesome. However, there's going to be an added twist for those that do. At the end of the month this year, of each month this year, I will actually be awarding the most love or lovers with a pattern of their choice on Ravelry. Perhaps the individual who got the most hearts on the project will also get a little something as well. Just so you know, I am going to be announcing the winners of the honorable mentions for the month of January. The voting for the month of February has begun, so please feel free to go ahead and visit the honorable mentions February thread on the Great Podcaster Craft Along Ravelry group, and just make sure that you mentioned that you cast your votes and you entered that directly in that thread. Please cast your votes on FO entries 66 through 112 before March 31st at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I may actually be persuaded to keep that open until the following morning, depending on how many people vote, just so you know. I'm going to take a quick drink, and then we will go ahead and draw for prizes. I'm pulling up random.org, so that way, we'll pull it as we go, and I'll put it in my show notes. So this part might take a while, so sit back and just take a drink. And away we go. Alright, let us start off with the $10 under pattern of the winner's choice on Ravelry. Let's see, we do have post 9 winning that for you. Let me see who that is here. Bad podcaster didn't pull up Ravelry. Pulled up random.org, but not the forums. I'm quicker than this, I promise, guys. Alright, so number 9 would be on the first page. All right, so post number 9 wins this was Knit Central. Congratulations. PM me directly on Ravelry with which pattern you would like, and I will go ahead and put here. Okay, and the next thing that we are going to draw for today is a pattern of the winner's choice from Java Pearl Designs. I will go ahead and I will generate it from 3 to 114. post number 71. Post number 71. Congratulations. Let's see who this is. Went a page too far. There we go. On page 4. Nib Central again. Congratulations. So please, like I said, PM me directly with which pattern you would like from Java Pearl Designs. All right, let's see. From Wayland Hung's Ravelry shop, let's see. Between 3 and 114 is post 47. Guys, I'm not good at this number thing. Okay. All right, so we're looking for, like I said, is it? Oh yeah, it was post 47. Post 47 was I Now Hour, and she entered a baby hat. Sweet. I love that little baby hat, I Now Hour. Congratulations. So please PM me directly, again, Silverluna 2112 there on Ravelry, with which pattern you would like from Wayland Hong's Ravelry store. I'll go ahead and I will link to all of these different posts directly in the comments, in the information section underneath on the YouTube channel as well, and also in the show notes. So the pattern from T.M. Harrison's Ravelry shop. Let's go ahead and generate. Ooh, number 42. The answer to everything, you guys. Let's see. Who is number 42? I should be on the same page. Let's see. All right. Number 42 was Jodidiah. And, it's a Pokeball origami. I love it. Adorable. So congratulations, Jodidiah. Make sure you go ahead and PM me directly with which pattern from T.M. Harrison's Ravelry shop you would like. Okay, so let us move on to the honorable mentions winners. I have already go ahead and put up a post on the Ravelry group, but I just want to announce them here on the podcast as well. So the winners of this, please PM me directly on Ravelry with your choice of $10 or under pattern. All right, so post number 6, who was Elle McCall, won the most loves. So congratulations, Elle McCall. You deserve it. That skirt is amazing. Oh, and also post number 4, I Now Hour. Congratulations for winning a $10 or under pattern of your choice. Amazing. Thank you so much for voting. All right. Let's move on to some real talk. I'm going to discuss a little bit more about what I said during my soapbox. Honestly, all month long, you could attest, even MTI can attest. I spent a lot of time actually sitting down with my thoughts about what I said, obsessing about that things didn't come out right the way that I wanted them to. What you didn't hear in that episode was that it took me about 2.5 hours to get the wording quite right. I didn't want to come across as a person who is colorblind and somebody who's blind to it. It's something that I have been wrestling with for the past month, but more so a lot more since the whole conversation started coming up. It wasn't something that I felt... It was something that I felt like needed to be said. And I think now that I've re-listened to the first episode, it is as good as articulated as I possibly can get that conversation to be with you guys. So that way at least you know how hard it was for me to discuss that. Like I said, I still am very flabbergasted that people feel that way, because I try to include everyone and everything, and in that vein, I'm gonna do a bit of a mental health check-in, especially not just pertaining to that conversation. If you are first-time viewers and listeners and you don't know, I actually do struggle with seasonal depression as well as a lot of social anxieties. I'm very introverted normally, so getting on the mic once a month I'm going to tell you, it stresses me out a little bit. But ever since I've had this bridge put in my mouth, I have been a lot more antisocial and not wanting to talk about certain things and how I feel. I know MTI has definitely noticed a big change in me where I'm trying to process a lot of a lot of crap, I guess you can say, in my past that I've not come to terms with, and I think that's part of the reason why I feel the way I do. But yeah, the depression has been kicking my ass over the past 3 months. So I am definitely looking forward to the spring. The large amount of snow that just fell on the overnight did not help that at all, but I'm feeling hopeful. More hopeful than I was a couple of months ago when I had my last Real Talk segment with you guys, so that's pretty good. But me not having a job over the past, God, has it been 9 months already? Ugh, anyway, almost a year. But yeah, having all this time to myself, being in the house all the time, and not being able to process a lot of those emotions has been kind of a strain. So if you feel like I'm trying to be a little bit more organic in how I talk, especially to you guys, and try to be completely honest, to help break the stigma around talking about mental health issues. I am going to tell you, any kind of work that I've done on my own self has been kind of do it yourself. I do not have a therapist, except for, occasionally talking to, especially talking to MTI about things. He doesn't always like to hear the tough parts, especially the seasonal depression parts. I get so low. There are times where I am not kind to myself at all. But doing this podcast, I'm going to tell you, it helps quite a bit. So I do thank you guys for just sitting here and listening to me rant and rave about a lot of what's been going on in my head. I try to not bring the podcast down to this level and to discuss things, but quite frankly, I felt like I needed to have a mental health check-in, especially over the past couple weeks, in the way that I've been tearing myself down, and just dealing with the issues that are going on in the knitting community, and in the world, really. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm going to cut it off before I go on a mini rant, because I have been known to go on very circular conversations and practically get nothing done. There we go. Okay. And deep breath. I'm also going to do a quick mention before I move on to the end of the episode. MTI and I have a little project coming down the line. I'm just going to put that bug in your ear about it. I'll make more of an announcement in the beginning of April. Okay, so we have come to the end of the road. I am pretty social. You can find me on our Ravelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland Podcast. On Ravelry, I am Silverluna2112, as I mentioned several times before. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. On Instagram, I am Silver's Treats. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. So you know I am now on twitch.tv as Silverluna2112. You can also find me on Goodreads as Silverluna if you would like to follow along with my reading progress throughout the month. Just so you know, I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. If you do message me on Instagram directly, I will not be able to get those messages. Unfortunately, the way my phone is set up, it is so old, it just does not let me get messages, so I don't see those. Just message me directly either on Ravelry, or you can go ahead and email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. I will go ahead and answer your questions or anything like that you have. So as always, anything that I do talk about this episode can be found in the show notes directly at www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com, and I'll also put a few links down below in the comment section. In the information bar down below. Okay, I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable, so please feel free to join in any discussion, or you can start your own directly on the Silver's Dreamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise. So Please stay tuned for episode 66 on Monday, April 1st. Until next time, happy crafting. And oh my god, my voice is shot. Guess I don't use it as much as I think I do.